I'm Maria Green, and I'm from Lansing, Michigan.
Awesome. Maria, tell me a little about yourself.
Well, I am a mom and a wife. I have a almost 5-month-old baby and a 6-year-old son and 3 stepchildren. I started out in adulthood working with special needs kids and worked as a preschool teacher for 10 years. When I met my husband, I quit all of that, started working at a grow store, learned how to grow his medicine. He's got epilepsy, and just my life kind of halted right then, and it's been about cannabis ever since. I was crocheting on the couch, and I got up to go to the kitchen, and as soon as I got up and started walking, I fell into the doorway into the kitchen. And I thought, it's really strange, why would I fall into the doorway? So I sat back down, crocheted for a little while longer. About an hour later I got up again, and same thing happened. I felt like I was walking straight and I fell into the doorway. And so I decided to go to sleep. Thought something just seems off, maybe I just need to rest and we'll go again tomorrow. So I woke up the following day and I had forgotten all about it, got up out of bed, went to head to the bathroom and fell into my armoire. And I remember my husband waking up and saying, "What are you doing? Are you playing around or something?" I have no idea what's going on. So I took a shower, still at that point was, kind of wondering what was going on, planning on going to work. And I fell in the shower, and so at that point I decided to go into the hospital. At the hospital, they admitted me for something neurological. They had no idea what it was yet. I told them about, my previous hospitalization. They didn't think at that time it had anything to do with one another. And at that point, I was in the hospital for 11 or 12 days. They did numerous amount of tests on me. And during the course of that, they wanted to do a spinal tap. And the hospital really made a lot of mistakes when it came to doing that. They sent in a second-year resident without his attending. He tried shooing everybody out of the room, including my husband. The nurses all left, but I would not allow my husband to leave the room. And then he poked my back to draw the spinal fluid. That didn't work, so he poked again and again. 10 times.
Oh my God.
Yep. 10 times he poked my back to try and get spinal fluid. By the 10th time, I was screaming so loud and under so much pain. And he just kept telling me, "I almost got it. I almost got it. Just hang in there. I almost got it." And I had been screaming for the last 10 times, the last 3 times that I wanted him to stop. And it took my husband getting real loud with the doctor until he finally stopped and stopped trying. After that point, I had such excruciating back problems for a very long time. And again, it was one of those things, they couldn't tell on the MRI that anything was damaged. But one of my doctors hypothesized that the resident had damaged the dura surrounding my spinal cord, and that's what was causing a lot of my pain. So back to the hospitalization, we ended up getting a spinal tap another way by fluoroscope, on another day, and that came back with banding, and because of the banding they diagnosed me with multiple sclerosis. I didn't have any plaques on my brain, and I'm due for another MRI right about now, so I'll see if that has changed at all, but as of my last MRI I still did not have any plaques. I have had, currently I'm on my third flare-up that has to do with walking. After leaving the hospital, they sent me home with steroid injections. We did that for 3 days at home, and I felt terrible, and it didn't do any good. I had only been a caregiver at that point, growing plants for my husband and a few other patients, and so I decided to get my patient card at that point. Once my patient card was approved, I started using cannabis, and within a day or two I was off my walker. I was walking unassisted.
Really?
And that had been after 6 weeks of staggered walking. Ataxic is what they said.
Now, was this cannabis oil that you were taking
It
at that
was,
point?
at that time it was not a large dose of cannabis oil. It was cannabis oil put into medibles, and I have a very low tolerance, so I was taking just a little bit of medibles at the time, kind of working my way upwards, but right from a low dose it started working right away. It wasn't long after that that my husband and I learned about warrants that we had for our arrest, stemming from a raid that had happened almost 18 months prior to it. We had been told over the phone that the police were not going to investigate further, they were dropping the matter, and that they would call us if anything ever changed, and they had never called us, so we assumed that nothing had changed. And turns out they had a warrant out for almost 18 months on us, and at that point, that was in January. We've been having legal problems ever since, going to court almost weekly, drug testing randomly. Right from the start, the judge had prohibited my use of cannabis because I was pregnant, and I figured that it was because they wanted to catch me doing something that might harm the baby so that they could justify taking the baby away. So they have me testing twice a week because of that. My husband, he was testing once a week, and they had told him at the beginning to go ahead and take his cannabis card into the testing facility and that he would be fine. And later, another judge ruled against that and prohibited his cannabis use as well. Now, 5 months postpartum, I'm having a postpartum flare-up and unable to walk straight again, stumbling around, and I can't turn to cannabis because I'm not allowed to by the court system.
What is available for you? Is there anything that can help you?
My neurologist has said they can put me on steroid injections again, and I don't want that. There's other MS medications that you can be on. They're long-term to help relapses, to keep relapses away. I don't want them either.
They all carry side effects, I'm sure.
I try to stay away from pharmaceuticals as much as I can. My family too. So we do more homeopathic stuff. I work with essential oils, things like that. I actually developed a non-cannabis product that takes in a lot of the non-cannabinoid components of cannabis, puts those together in a legal form, and those help to some extent. Other than that, there's not a lot I can do. Cannabis was definitely the thing that worked the best. Joe Grumbine started the Human Solution out in California, and I started the Michigan charter just in the last few months. And we are working very hard, and our membership is growing a lot to try and get awareness out, to try and change the laws, if only by case precedents. And we have a big push to change actual legislation as well to fix those things, but in the meantime, we just fight daily to help the patients.
You're doing an incredible job up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.